And here we go once again.
If this was another potential assassin, how he had this information about where former President Trump was playing golf. Of course, he owns numerous golf courses in the state of Florida, Doral in the Miami area, but of course, Trump International is the closest to Mar-a-Lago and Palm Beach, where he resides. That is one of the big questions we hope to hear in this press conference coming up shortly, Eric.
Yeah, and even if you don't know exactly what his schedule is, if you're a local, you know that the former president plays golf. You can obviously see police and the Secret Service presence. You can see the motorcade, and you know when that is happening. And we see a motorcade right now going over the bridge from Palm Beach over the bridge over to West Palm Beach.
It's not a far trip.
The former president spoke to Bret Baier, and Bret is quoting the former president as saying, quote, "Tell everybody I am fine, and the Secret Service did a great job."
So, okay, before we get started, I want to go ahead and say this right now. This video right here is an initial reaction to the news that was reported yesterday and last night and what's come out so far. I'm obviously recording this video early in the morning. It's raining outside. Can't really do a whole lot. My back has been bothering me. It's been hurting. And, of course, to go on top of that there, I'm going to be kind of confined to the house at least until Thursday when I have my next doctor's appointment. Don't want to get too much into this right now, but still, though. This right here, once again, is the video just simply responding and reacting to the initial news reports. There will, in fact, be a follow-up with more information where I will go a little bit deeper, which probably will come out tomorrow or on Wednesday. I just want to go ahead and give you guys the heads up before we get started. Now, let's go ahead and dive into it. So we get information that former President Trump just had another, let's just say, another assassin just pop up out of the middle of nowhere. And trust me, there's going to be more coming out outside of this video here. This right here is just, once again, an initial reaction to what we know. Now, let me go ahead and say this before we go further. The guy that apparently did this guy right here, that I'm showing you guys some stuff in the B-roll footage, this guy named Ruth, the initial things that are coming out on him seem more to be, let's just go ahead and say it seems to be more intact as far as what they've got on this guy, but still at the same time, though, it's kind of odd how fast they were able to get this right here together. But then again, at the same time, though, it could also be because maybe Florida's law enforcement basically got to work a lot faster than the FBI did, which, of course, is going to raise some questions a little bit later on this week, and there's definitely a lot of crazy stuff to go through with that. Now, I'm going to stick with everything that's official just for this video here. I'm going to wait for more stuff to come out before I go into the unofficial territory or the rabbit hole itself. I'm going to wait and give it at least 24 to 48 more hours before we decide to talk about that. Not to mention the fact that the week itself is going to be a little bit, let's just say it's going to be another one of those weird wonky ones, but don't worry, you guys will get an explanation towards the end of the video of why that there is the case. You guys know me, I don't like hiding stuff from you, especially if there are things going on with me. Let's just say I got to go back to the doctor, post-op situation. But still, though, this past weekend, for whatever reason, I was in a lot of pain. Don't worry, I'll explain that more towards the end of the video. And, of course, there is a 12 o'clock piece coming out here real soon. Of course, I'm doing this on Monday morning. Now, the thing about this particular story that I find very interesting is the fact that, once again, the mainstream media has already gone to the watering well of who to blame for what happened.
An assassination attempt comes amid increasingly fierce rhetoric on the campaign trail itself. Mr. Trump, his running mate J.D. Vance continue to make baseless claims about Haitian immigrants in Ohio. This weekend, there were new bomb threats in that town. Our Maggie Vespa is in Columbus, Ohio, with more.
So let's just go ahead and blame former President Trump for the assassination attempt on his life. Now, Trump is fine. What happened in this case, supposedly, was that this guy got hold of information, his tea time, because Trump, of course, was playing golf. He got a hold of this information, which is kind of weird how he got a hold of the information, finding out exactly what time Trump would actually be golfing and exactly what hole he would be at. And then, of course, you get this little nugget here of the weapon itself, supposedly an AK platform weapon. Alex Jones had a quip about it yesterday saying it looked a little bit more like a Dragunov. And let me go ahead and tell you right now, my experience with weapons, no, that's not a Dragunov. You might think to yourself that maybe it's an AK-47 or it may very, very well be an AK-7 for you. Anybody with bigger gun knowledge than me who run gun channels, please give me your thoughts in the comment section. I have basic bare bones knowledge when it comes to foreign weapons. However, one thing that I am very good at is AFVID, vehicle identification, which of course I learned when I was in tank school back in 2004. Still, though, at the same time, though, this situation, once again, looks like another situation where something may have slipped through and somebody got some information that, quite frankly, they were not supposed to get. I mean, assassinating presidential candidates is not exactly something that you can just, how do I say, sweep under the rug. It's not exactly a story that can be buried in a few hours. And obviously it's tragic, especially given the previous attempt. Yes, I know I sound a little bit less sympathetic in this case, but trust me, I do these videos the way that I do for a reason. If I decide to get emotional or get pissed off, I normally do it off camera away from you guys because I think it distracts from what I'm trying to get out to you guys. Let's also not forget this AP post that was released a while back of Nancy Pelosi basically saying that it was her life's goal to ensure that Donald Trump never sees the White House again. I would sit here and make this video about rhetoric and how bad the rhetoric of the left has been really ever since 2015 or even before that. But of course, these people don't exactly have what we call self-reflection. That right there will be coming up once again a lot this week, so make sure you guys stick around for those takes. But still, though, at the same time, I think when we have a conversation about rhetoric, I think Donald Trump simply saying that they're eating the dogs or they're eating the cats, that doesn't exactly sound to me like the type of rhetoric that denotes an inflammation of people's feelings or violence. It seems to me like what I've been saying all along. The left, they've been doing this the whole time, and quite frankly, it's the left's MO to accuse you of that which they are guilty of. So, no, I'm not surprised that the mainstream media or Lester Holt is doing what he's doing. But, of course, we'll give more examples of that later on this week. Now, real quick, there is one more nugget that needs to be tossed in this video. And yes, obviously, I edited this very late. What was the conversation before the Trump assassination attempt? Well, believe it or not, the conversation was about Taylor Swift, hence the reason why it is that she's in the thumbnail. You see, apparently Donald Trump put this tweet out saying, "I hate Taylor Swift." It wasn't a tweet, it was a Truth Social post, but he put that out there, and people were like, "What are you doing? This is crazy. Why are you trying to upset the Swifties?" When ABC News released a poll, the following, let's just say that they had released it a couple of hours prior, which, by the way, was an extension of a New York Post article saying that only about 8% of voters would actually do what Taylor Swift says, where 20% said that they would do the exact opposite, and of course the rest of the percentage said that it wouldn't matter. Like I've said before, a Taylor Swift endorsement doesn't really help Kamala Harris. If anything, it actually intensifies the vote against Kamala Harris because, let's just go ahead and be honest, dudes don't want to be ruined while watching football. They don't want to be distracted by a suburban mid who sings songs about her shitty choices in men, nor a pussy whoop man like Travis Kelce. I'm just simply saying that it doesn't have the impact you think it does, and that right there was the conversation before the assassination, which of course was the original news story that they were going to go with, but it looks to me like this situation is obviously going to be buried as well, and of course I think people are focusing more about the failed assassination attempt, so yeah, once again, good try, lefties. But let us get back on topic. So what do we know about this guy, Mr. Ruth? Well, let me go ahead and kind of play a bit of a montage. Make sure you guys watch it all the way through. Yes, some of it is Fox News, but of course, somebody did put a little nugget in, which is this guy's donations to Act Blue. Just kind of go through it really quick, only about a minute and a half, and I'll come back on the other end and give you guys some additional information to kind of fill in what exactly is going on here and give you guys my actual interpretation of what I think will happen as a result of all of this.
Being investigated as a second attempted assassination of former President Trump has been identified. Authorities say his name is Ryan Wesley Roth. He allegedly poked his muzzle of his AK-47 style rifle through a chain link fence as he was hiding in the bushes of former President Trump's golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida. That's when an agent saw it and opened fire. The Trump campaign releasing the statement just after 2 o'clock this afternoon. President Trump is safe following gunshots in his vicinity. No further details at this time. Those gunshots, we now know, were fired by that Secret Service agent. Ruth, now in custody.
Ryan Wesley Ruth, R-O-U-T-H. Not much more known about him at this time, except that he's the suspect currently in custody right now. Palm Beach Sheriff's Office says that he was taken into custody by the Martin County Sheriff's Office, just the county north of Palm Beach, was taken into custody after escaping the scene in his black SUV. According to the sheriff in Palm Beach, he did not make any sort of initial statement when he was taken into custody. They're expected to be releasing more details, a mugshot, whatnot later. But we're continuing to dig into who he is, who Ryan Ruth is, where he's from, his background. We're seeing a little bit online. We want to be careful and make sure we have all of the information correct before we present it to our loyal viewers. But we can tell you right now that his name is Ryan Wesley Ruth.
And of course, local law enforcement, they would, in fact, they would do a press conference as well, further filling in some more of the blanks. Let me go ahead and roll this for you. Real quick, editing Claymore here. I want to go ahead and say this. It's very odd what's going on with CNN and ABC at this moment in time, because this is like the third or fourth copyright claim that I've had to put in a claim against in the past 2 weeks. It's odd what's actually going on here. So yes, there's going to be a header over this particular montage here, or this particular press conference, mostly due to the fact that it's just becoming annoying for the time being, but you guys will still obviously hear what the guy's got to say. But it is ridiculous how bad the copyright has been over the past few days, especially around Trump, ABC, Harris. It's just insane.
Nissan, and I took a picture of the vehicle and the tag, which was great. So we had that information. Our real-time crime center put it out to the license plate readers, and we were able to get a hit on that vehicle on I-95 as it was headed into Martin County. We got a hold of Martin County Sheriff's Office, alerted them, and they spotted the vehicle and pulled it over and detained the guy. After that, we took the the witness that witnessed the incident, flew him up there, and he identified as the person that he saw running out of the bushes and jumped into the car. Now, in the bushes where this guy was is a AK-47 style rifle with a scope, 2 backpacks which were hung on the fence that had ceramic tile in them, and a GoPro, which he was going to take pictures of. So those are being processed right now. The Secret Service agent that was on the course did a fantastic job. What they do is they have an agent that jumps one hole ahead of time to where the president was at. And he was able to spot this rifle barrel sticking out of the fence and immediately engage that individual, at which time the individual took off. So that's what we know about the investigation. We have somebody in custody right now that is a potential suspect. We got a little bit more work to do on it, but as we usually do, as soon as we decide that we're going to book him into the county jail and the charges that he's going to be booked into, we'll get those to you, and we'll get a picture of him, and we'll get you his background. So now I'm going to turn it over to the representative of the Secret Service, and he's going to make a brief statement.
And then asked why the president's Secret Service detail is not top of the line, we get this here.
Was this able to happen, and for future reference, is there any obscurity of a golf course?
Well, you got to understand the golf course is surrounded by shrubbery. So when somebody gets into the shrubbery, they're pretty much out of sight. All right? And at this level that he is at right now, he's not the sitting president. If he was, we would have had this entire golf course around him.
He's not the sitting president, so therefore he's not afforded the protection. Now, some people could argue that that's how it is, that's how it should be. But then again, at the same time, though, I was under the impression that every single former president that we had, from Jimmy Carter, who's still magically kicking, to Bill Clinton, who's obviously still alive, to George W. Bush, who's still alive, Joe Biden, of course, leaving office, he will have Secret Service protection as well. I was under the impression that, of course, also Obama as well. I was under the impression that they always had top-of-the-line Secret Service protection. I was just under the impression. I mean, if I got that one that they're wrong, apparently I'm wrong on that one, my bad. But still, though, at the same time, the mainstream media going ahead and saying that Donald Trump is at fault because it was his rhetoric that caused this doesn't surprise me. The fact that the federal government at this moment in time is, allowing the information to get out where somebody could just show up to a guy's house, to his golf course, know exactly what time he was going to be at a certain tee or what golf hole he was going to be at. The fact of the matter is this right here. It's obviously very strange, and obviously there's a lot of things going on here that, quite frankly, we know aren't exactly on the level. Like I said, got to watch my language here because of how the algorithm operates. So what do we know about Mr. Routh so far? Well, we know that he was very, very big on the Ukrainian conflict. There's this little clip right here in an interview that he did with Newsweek Romania that actually states he was from my neck of the woods, that right there being the same state that I live in. Granted, he's from an area about 3 hours away from me, so obviously we've never had any contact or anything like that. Go ahead and start questioning, all right? Because I can already hear somebody say, we live in the same state. Shut the hell up. The fact of the matter is that this guy right here, if you look at him, he seems like a bit of a loon. And then, of course, once you start looking into this guy's information, you see such videos as this here.
I don't care if you do paper or not. I'm looking for revolutionaries. A number of people want to take this whole system down.
Bro, I'm a veteran. Like, do you need me?
What kind of veteran are you?
Bro, I served in Nuketown.
Well, I think it's better to serve and fight in the powers, fucking over the system.
Bro, give me a Glock and a Hellcat.
Take a look at this.
Bro, but I don't do paper, though. I just told
Come
you
on,
that.
dude, then get away. We don't need people who aren't serious. If you're not serious,
I'm serious, but I don't do paper, bro. You're literally killing the environment.
We're moving on. You go ahead, have your lunch.
No, bro, I'm going to class.
Go to
I'm a
class
scholar.
then. Go to class.
And of course, to go on top of this, you've also got people like these Twitter accounts basically saying, oh, good, look, once again, another Republican that took a shot at Donald Trump. And my response to that is this here. Does that make it any less bad? By the way, we once again see Act Blue donations. We once again also see these fake Instagram accounts that were being created probably by other left-wingers. This right here, once again, is just showing you who the hell these people are, which, by the way, I will touch on before we end the video, because obviously it's about what happens next, because obviously former President Trump is safe. Will they try this again? Or will Eric Weinstein said the other day on Piers Morgan come to fruition?
Point out that I'm not entirely positive that Kamala and Trump will be the candidates in November. I'm definitely thinking that it is likely, when before I thought it was very unlikely that both Biden and Trump would make it to November. But I cannot tell you what is going to happen. So much has happened this cycle that you have to keep an open mind that we may have some stunning changes, reversals.
Well, here's the reason why I disagree with this right here. And don't worry, we're going to be talking about black pills a lot this week, because obviously there are black pillars out there. I disagree with that because obviously, whether she was serious or not, Kamala Harris's past kind of indicates that, yeah, she would be 100% on board with the other side's candidate not being in existence. Case in point, this bit from the Ellen DeGeneres show, which is, quite frankly, aging pretty poorly. And once it starts going into ads, is really going to cause some damage to that campaign.
They'd be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions. Who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
Now, obviously, this person was joking, but still at the same time, though, it once again is not a good look. Look, let me say this before we go any further, because this right here is obviously going to be the last part of the video here, or the last section of the video, because it's all about what happens next. Look, we're still gathering information on this guy. We're still getting intel to kind of explain what exactly happened here. I can already hear people saying that obviously the Secret Service is compromised, and I do agree with that to a certain extent. Obviously, the FBI is compromised. Yes, it is. Obviously, the Department of Homeland Security is compromised. Yes, it is. We'll get more into that in tomorrow's follow-up video, because there were a lot of other things that came out during this entire ordeal. A lot of people with a lot of reactions, a lot of takes out there, which, of course, also include from Alex Jones all the way to this guy's son, that would obviously give you the indication that this right here was a person that was radicalized. I mean, if you look at what was actually uncovered so far, what you get is you get a guy who lives in Hawaii who, for whatever reason, chose to register as a Republican to once again do exactly what the last guy did, Crooks, go in there and vote in a closed primary for the Republican nominee, even though this guy's tweets seem to indicate he's much, much more pro-Biden, much, much more pro-left than he is right. But once again, though, the media's got to find narratives, because obviously the mainstream media is, in fact, complicit in what's going on. I don't need to go through the rhetoric or anything, but you got to ask yourself a question. Why is it that guys' tweets like, say, Curtis Jackson saying, just go ahead and go vote for Kamala so that way we can put an end to this charade, Trump will just simply walk away? It's called a bullying tactic. That right there is what these people are trying to do. This right here is all designed to try to beat people into submission. And of course, we will talk a little bit more about this in tomorrow's follow-up, or it could be Wednesdays. I'm not entirely sure. It may even come out later on tonight. I'm not sure. But still, though, this is all a tactic designed to bully and blackmail people on the right. It's not working. The less and less and less it works, the more and more and more they're going to intensify the attacks, which makes you almost wonder to yourself, What exactly happens, especially when you see reactions like this one right here from Vindman's wife, the guy that was actually testifying against Trump during the whole Russia collusion thing, only for people to find out how big of a quack he was and how much he was lying. That guy right there should be locked up. And, of course, yet he's out here running for office. And, of course, his wife has got extremely nasty things to say. But I also find it funny that you had the VP nominee, Tim Walz, come out here and say, I'm glad to see former President Trump is safe, when Tim Walz was one of the main people out there screaming and hollering that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. I don't know if you guys have noticed it or not, but the people who are normally firing at other people, they're normally the ones who are, especially if you're in power, they're the ones who look like the actual threat to democracy. But like I said before, what happens going forward? Well, as you guys can obviously see, these people are trying to bully conservatives into staying home. They're trying to get Trump to lay down. They're trying to just say, let her win, let her win, let her go ahead and go on through. That right there is what they're trying to do. It won't work, though, because when you do stuff like that, these people don't seem to understand that the other person, or the person who's being, let's just say the person who's getting fed up, their resolve begins to strengthen, and eventually it leads to a moment to where you punch the schoolyard bully right in the face. I believe that that moment is probably going to be Election Day, when everybody sees exactly how much Trump won by. They're going to be like, damn, that right there is one hell of a beating. But, of course, this stuff will, in fact, pick up again after the election, because obviously there's a period of about 70 days between Election Day and Inauguration Day. So, obviously, this situation is going to intensify, and, of course, we'll be here to cover it. Now, like I said before, this video right here, for the most part, is just an initial reaction to the news that has been reported. It will come out today at 5 o'clock. And, of course, there will be a follow-up based on the information that comes out later on this week. I discussed that at the very, very beginning and let you guys see firsthand. So right now, once again, think about it this way here. Once again, it's an initial. Thank God former President Trump is safe. But, of course, this crap right here will probably continue throughout the rest of the cycle. Still, though, you guys tell me what you think. Please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sound off in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.